Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking. I'm here with another video review. This is a game that is in Kickstarter, and it's from the same guys who did one of my favorite games of last year, Agents of Smersh. And unfortunately, the game box I have, since the game itself is like kind of a redo of an older game, the new game has some twists and turns that separate it from the game that existed prior. And I guess there was a few different versions of the game before this newer version is going to be published. So the box I have is this. It says Terra X, and I don't know, some old Sean Connery guy there, and somewhere, but I don't know. But this apparently was a Queen Games release, and I honestly don't know what the year was when this was made, but it's by Wolfgang Kramer, and I'm sure if you've been a part of the whole board game experience for a while, the name should not be a surprise to any of you. It is a game of... the theme of it is that you and the other people that are playing are part of these expeditions that are visiting all these wonderful locations across the globe, and so it's kind of a travel game. And if you're able to direct the expeditions to the places you want to go, you are able to gain points by doing so. And so there's a little bit of a bluffing going on because they don't always know exactly where you're headed. There's some information that's open and available to everyone that's playing, and it's actually quite a bit of fun. The game has maybe like 5 rules to it in its entirety, but it is the interaction that you have with the other players that you're playing that actually makes the game really enjoyable. But I'm going to show you how you play the game really quick. Like I said, it isn't going to take long to explain. And then I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of, this game. It's going to be called Expeditions. But this, it's like, when I saw this, I honestly thought it was like that horrible Terra Nova show that was on Fox for like 3 days or whatever, with the dinosaurs and the going through time and what have you. But anyway, there we go. Expeditions. Let's show you how to play. Okay, here is the game board for this earlier version of the game Expedition that is in Kickstarter right now. From what I understand, the gameplay and the board are going to look very much the same. Slight cosmetic differences, but what you see here is what you're going to get once the game comes out. Just quickly explaining some of the components. These plastic arrows are what you are going to use to show which direction expeditions are going. There's a little white dot right there, and all expeditions start there. And you place the arrows like so on the lines that you see to show expedition movement. I should say each line, I did that incorrectly already. Each line is a different expedition. So like yellow continues with yellow, as you see. However, the expeditions can intersect if they're ever able to run into each other. Like, let's just go ahead and throw things on here, like so. So you notice how like the yellow has met up in the same spot as this blue, and the yellow could then, start heading back up the same way. You can never go backwards, so blue couldn't go back like that and try to head back the other way. You're always got to go forward away from the last spot that you're on. Big giant deck of cards that has all of the locations that you'll see on the board. Here's, then you can actually see there's like these really nice pictures. These are in German, so I'm not going to try to read them. Obviously, I think this was like a National Geographic, funded or produced version of the game. So they had like really interesting, obviously flavor text and explaining exactly what they're. So it's kind of an educational game, which is pretty cool. And here's like my favorite card, the Coelacanth. This like millions and millions and millions of year old fish that they started catching off the coast of Madagascar, which you can see the coelacanth is right down there. But anyway, to begin the game, what happens is that if you have 4 or 5 or 6 people, this is a game for 2 to 6 people, everybody gets 9 of these cards. If you're playing with less people, you get 12 of these cards. And I'm just going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And each person will get those cards, and the remainder of the cards are placed in a draw stack. So here are the cards that I got. And when it is your turn, what you're going to try to do is you're going to try to figure out where these locations are on the board without letting anybody realize what you're looking at. You have the pictures, obviously, like, here's the Sphinx, so you can, look, oh, I can see the Sphinx right there, and that sort of thing. Some of them you might not know offhand, like, obviously, this one must be in China, so you can kind of look, oh, it's the Great Wall, there you go, things like that. And so once you figured out the locations on the board where you're going to want your expedition to go to, because each time you go to these locations, you're able to turn in these cards, and then the cards at the end of the game that you've turned in are worth points. You get to pick 4 of these, and then you get to pick them, and they are like your VIP locations, like the spots that you really want to get to. So let's just say that I'm playing blue, and I'm going to try to get to the Sphinx, and I'm going to try to get to the Great Wall. Let's see if I got anything else cool that I happen to like here. Oh, I got Machu Picchu. That's kind of cool. I got Machu Picchu. So let's go ahead and place that one. And I need one more. I have no idea what that is, but it's Madagascar, and I mentioned that earlier. And that was a pretty cool movie. My daughter likes it, so we'll go ahead and place that there as well. Now, I'm just going to randomly throw some others down for my opponents, even though I'm not drawing cards from them. We'll just pretend. Now, the interesting thing is that when you place these, you start with the first player. It says start with the youngest player in the rules, but whatever. And then as these get placed, it actually can be very strategic. Because if they aren't all placed at once, players will place them one at a time. And so players might actually try to place ones that are close to where other people are placing their tokens. Meaning that, so if yellow is this here, blue, if I place that there afterwards, saying, well, he's going to want to get there, and I'm going to be able to count on yellow, pushing one of the expeditions in that direction. So I'm gonna put that there, and hopefully I'm gonna have his help in being able to place that particular spot. And I'll just say we had one more player. And sometimes if you get lucky and they're right next to each other, you can do that, and like this, and let's go. All right, so there we go. Now we have those locations, those locations set up on the board, and now what happens is that you draw from this deck. You'll draw locations from here, and these are open locations, meaning that if on your turn you manage to get an expedition to these spots, you get the points for that. So let's just go ahead and go there, and there's 4. You put 6, and 2 of them are actually secret. So you place them face down, like so. And this isn't part of this game's rules. This is part of the new rules that are going to be a part of that game. The reason why they're secret is that if you can, 1, find out what those cards are, and 2, get an expedition to claim those cards, those are going to be worth extra points at the end of the game. I'll explain how you get that in just a moment. So the very basic mechanic of the game is that on your turn, you take one of these arrows, and everything has to start here. And if you're the first player, and I'm blue, so I'm going to try to get to this spot right here, and you go ahead and you place a yellow arrow there. And that's the first expedition, and it's heading in that direction, and hopefully nobody will mess with that, and I'll be able to go and do that again. And then the next player goes and they can either continue the yellow expedition or they can start an expedition of their own. So let's say they want to start the red expedition, and they go like that. And then next turn the blue, next player goes and they decide they're going to start the blue expedition, and they want to head this way. Let's say like that. So now I'm getting excited because my turn's coming up, and I've got that yellow, and I'm going to be able to get to my spot. But the fourth player realizes what I'm doing, and they decide they're going to take away that option from me, and they're going to go ahead and place the yellow arrow like that. Meaning I've just totally missed it. I'm now heading down into Saudi Arabia, and unfortunately I'm not, unless I can somehow loop back and up and over, or perhaps get another one of the expeditions to head back in that direction, I won't be able to claim that, as it were. And that's how the game goes. You just place these arrows down, and these expeditions move. And it's one of these things where you have to constantly be paying attention to where each of these is going, and also maintaining a knowledge of these cards that are in your hand that nobody else can see, and also maintaining a knowledge of those cards up there. So maybe there's something up there that you can turn on as well. That's really simply the very, very easy mechanic of the game. There's a couple of wrinkles that I'm going to explain as well that also take place. If you place an arrow and it's pointing towards a green, and actually I should have done it for this particular move right there, you immediately get to place another arrow for going to a green spot. It could be the same expedition, or it could be another expedition entirely. So when that person did that, say they were actually the player that was the white player, they could have gone like that and immediately placed another arrow, like so. They've pointed in the direction of this. They would collect their token, which is going to be worth points at the end of the game, and then they turn in the card that they had for that location in the tundra. And then they, obviously they've already claimed one of their spots, and everybody else who's playing them is now cursing them. So, and that is what you do. That green arrow allows you to place another spot. I'm not green arrow, the green circles. The red circles, every time you land on one of those, earn you one of these tickets. And this isn't what the tickets are going to look like in the game, but these are the tickets in this particular version. These tickets can be used for several different things. Most importantly, you can only use 2 tickets on any one turn. The tickets can be used to place another arrow, so you can go another spot. They can be used to actually backtrack. So if I had had a ticket when my turn had come, I could have actually played that ticket to backtrack back one spot, and then taken my normal turn and placed that particular arrow there, and then collected my token that was in that spot. Or I have the option of, if I'm looking at my expedition cards and I realize that I'm not going to be able to get one of these locations, it's just like the players are just completely boning me and not letting me get there, I can draw 2 off of the top of the deck, and I look at these 2 that I have. I get to pick one of these. I keep that, or I can, if I decide I don't like either of these, you can, and then you take one card out of your hand and you place them on the bottom of the deck. And so that way you can, if you have a bad deck of these cards, you have the option and the ability to actually replace them. If you in fact turn in one of the spots that has your token on it, you can still collect the token if an expedition goes to that particular spot, but you won't be able to turn the card in. You'll still get the points from the token as well. Now, using the tickets, you can also use them to look at the secret cards. If you look at the secret card, you take it, you look at it, you put it back down, and then you take your token and you put it on top of the card to show that you've actually looked at it. And that means you can look at that card at any time at that point. That's also very helpful because I've had a game or two where I've forgotten which card I actually looked at in the beginning. Finally, the new game will actually have these expedition leaders. And these are famous explorers like Cortez, Jacques Cousteau, Marco Polo, I don't know, Lillian Ayling, I'm assuming they're famous, I've never heard of them. Zhenghe and Eden Batuta. And these you can you can purchase these for 2 tickets, and they give special abilities, and they actually, underneath, they score 3 points at the end of the game if you have placed in front of you and have scored the most total green location cards. So it's just one of those things that you can use to gain bonus points, if you will. After one of these gets purchased, then they are replaced with an assistant card, and once again, and these can be purchased for 1 ticket. And so, obviously, assistant picture inserted here. Obviously, these are prototype cards, but it's the same situation. It's like these draw 3 expedition cards from the draw deck and add them to your hand. After drawing, you may discard any 2 from your hand. So, I mean, these assistants will give you, once again, this is any game, the cards allow you to break the rules in some way to give you some added benefit. I don't think I mentioned this, but when you actually do take one of these that's secret, it is replaced with yet another, secret card. So if I manage to get to this location, I claim that, I take that and put it in front of me, and that's worth extra points. But then we replace it with another secret card that you can't look at until you pay for it with tickets. The game continues until either one player manages to go to all their location cards that they have in their hand, or every single one of these arrows is placed on the board. In the case of the arrows, the game is immediately over and you total up your total scoring to see who wins. In the case of getting rid of the cards, if they were the first player, everybody else gets 1 more turn, so the turns are equal, and then you total up the points. You get points for having those tokens, you get points for the added abilities of the leaders, you get points for having, and also get points for collecting having the cards in the locations that you visited. If you have cards left in your hand, those are worth negative points. So if it's something where it's in your best interest, obviously, to finish as quickly as possible, because then the other players will actually get negative points for not having visited the locations that they're going to. So there you go. That's how you play Expedition. Like I said, I played it a few times with my friends, and I really like the interactivity of the game. I really like the secret knowledge, and I really like the kind of the bluffing aspect. It's too many games out there don't have any interaction with you and the other players at the table. You're just kind of, I've used this terminology before, tending your own garden and just trying to make the nicest garden of everybody that's playing. But this is a game where you are constantly affecting the other players that are playing the game and altering their chances to win. And I really enjoy that aspect of this game. So there you go. But let me tell you exactly what I think. So if I had taken 3 seconds to actually look at the back of the box, I could have told you this particular version of the game was published in 1995. It's like, actually, not that you can see it. A good thing I'm pointing to it, right? Anyway, so I was looking at this, and I took German in high school 1,000 years ago. So I'm going to attempt to pronounce these words here, and you people that actually can speak German can laugh at me. So, Terra X zu den letzten Rätseln unserer Welt. So, I have no idea what that means. I suppose I could have looked it up, but whatever. Alright, so there you go. You know how to play the game. I'll tell you right from the beginning. When I got the components and I got this game and I had to look at it, it was really weird because it really took me back to components-wise. It took me back to that mid-90s era where, like, now it seems like games that we play now, we expect really nice plastic figurines or nice chunky wood, and plastic just isn't, unless it's like nicely sculpted, plastic just doesn't cut it now anymore. If you open up and you have like plastic cubes or something in the game, you're like, I don't want to play with these, but so when I opened this up and I saw, all these little plastic arrows and stuff, I was just like, wow, and it was kind of nostalgic, if you will. Which, I don't know exactly what the components are going to look like in the next version of the game. I'm assuming they will upgrade them a bit so that the game is more to what we come to expect here in the 21st century. Anyway, like I said, the game is really simple. It isn't tough to figure out. It isn't tough to learn. What it is, though, it is very, very. It's one of those. I love games with hidden information, and I really enjoy games where there is that little hint of the bluff. If this game with just one arrow going around and doing its thing, it wouldn't really mean or do anything for me, honestly. There was a game that I reviewed, it's got to be a year or two ago, called Caravelis, and it was an exploration type game, and it had kind of this same thing where you had your secret spots on the board that you wanted to head to and discover before anybody else, and they were worth extra points, and that was the one thing about that game that I really, really liked. And the rest of the game was, kind of, he was okay. But this game just has that one thing. You have these cards in your hand. You're trying really, really hard not to look at the spot of the map that you're headed towards. And you're trying to, hopefully, when your turn rolls around, you're within that spitting distance, if you will, of that spot. So you can get either on it or really close to it. And then hope that your opponents will do the rest of the work for you, because that's like the cool thing is like if they move into that spot that you have, you get to play your card. And that also is really cool because it makes you pay attention when it isn't your turn. I mean, how many times have you played a game where, it's like it's somebody's turn, they're going through the motions, and, this guy, I'm going to check my phone, or I'm going to, talk to this guy about the latest Stargate 1 episode, or whatever, and it's just like, but this game, if you're not paying attention and some guy goes through the spot that you're trying to get to, all of a sudden it's just like, oh, wait, I was there, so it's one of those cool things where it's fast-paced, it doesn't take a long time to play, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. And plus, it's a game that my 5-year-old daughter can really picked up on. I mean, she had to have a little bit of coaching because the cards that are here, are in German, and so they have the cool pictures. And of course, Rylan, like if she saw a bear, she'd be like, the bear, it's right there. And so, it was a little, it's like, oh, well, I guess I won't go up into North America then. But, but it is fun for children too. It's not an overly complex game, but it's a heck of a lot of fun to play with your family. So if you're looking for a game like that, I strongly suggest you go to the Kickstarter page and pledge to back the game so it can go ahead and get published, and you can get a copy in your grubby little mitts as soon as it comes out. I know I will be doing so. But there you go. That was not Terra X, but Expeditions. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, I ask you to leave them, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. But until next time, this has been Undead Viking, and I greatly appreciate your time and for you taking that time to watch me do this. So, all right, you guys have an awesome, awesome day. Bye-bye.